We good to go? Gone. All praise be to the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because his mercy surely endure forever. I'm Captain Karash. Before we get started, I want to say, I really appreciate the opportunity to teach this class. It's an honor and a privilege to be, in front of you all tonight, teaching the will of the Most High. So for this Wednesday Wisdom, the topic for today is to whom much is given, much is required. To whom much is given, much is required, right? A lot of us, we come into this truth, we get this wisdom, we get this knowledge that we're Israelites, and we take it for granted. A lot of us, we feel like the information that we learn, our heritage, who we are according to the Bible, that's enough for us to just cruise our way into salvation. But it's not so. The Most High, He give us a lot of requirements. He give us a lot of things that we need to do to make sure we seal our salvation. And that's very important in these last days that we're living in, because it's a very thin line. It's a very thin line between the 1 and the 2/3, man. So without anything else being said, let's get it popping. Let me get Colossians 3:17. Colossians 3:17, man.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 17.
Uh-huh.
And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of Hamashiach Yahushua, giving thanks to the power and the Father by him.
That's right. So everything we do, every action, everything that we say needs to be in the name of Hamashiach Yahushua, who the world so ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Let's open it up with Leviticus 25 and 55, man. So what does the Most High require of us? What's our whole purpose of being here on this earth? We got to figure that out. It's not enough for us to just know that we Israelites, man. We got to act accordingly. Judgment is coming to this earth. For some people, sooner than we believe. You got that?
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 25 and verse 55.
Uh-huh.
For unto me, the children of Israel are servants.
Right. So unto the Most High, the children of Israel are his servants, man. So we got to ask ourselves, what does that mean? What is a servant? Can anybody tell me what a servant is?
Yeah, they carry out the work of the Most High.
Carry out the work of the Most High, right? Right? Anybody else?
I think so.
The servant is made to bring Jacob back to Israel.
Right. The servant is made to bring Jacob back to Israel, right? So a servant is a person that performs the duties for others, right? Or it can also be thought of as a devout and a helpful follower. So that's our role here on earth. Read that again from the top.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 25, verse 55.
Uh-huh.
For unto me, the children of Israel are servants.
Right. For unto the Most High, we are his devout followers and his helpful followers, right? Read.
They are my servants, whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. I am the Most High, your power.
Right. So let me get Isaiah 41:8. Isaiah 41:8.
Come. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 41 and verse 8.
Uh-huh.
But thou, Israel, art my servant.
Right. So we said it again. Israel, not these other nations, not the Arab man, not the Chinese man. And we know that we Israelites. So he's talking specifically to us, Israel. Right? Read that again.
Verse 8. But thou, Israel, art my servant.
Uh-huh.
Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend.
Right. So a couple weeks ago, just to tell y'all a quick story, man, I was in the back, right? We was having Shabbat service, and we had a visitor here. Right. So the visitor, he was leaving. He left even before the break started. And he was like, man, y'all got a long service, man. Y'all got a long service. He left before the break, but you got to understand, we've been so indoctrinated as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. It's very important for us to be here at the service, right? We learn our heritage. We learn our knowledge. We learning some really deep breakdowns, some real genuine stuff that we need to know out the Bible, right? And if you think about it, most Christian churches, they longer than that, right? So, and another thing is that our people, we don't have a problem with serving other nations. A lot of our people, they working 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week, 2 jobs, 3 jobs. just to make ends meet. Like my Captain Marshall like to say, our people love serving these other nations. The Most High, he gave us 1 day to serve him out the week. We got 6 other days we can do whatever we want to do, as long as it's within the law, statutes, and commandments, right? We only got 1 day we got to serve the Most High, right? That we got to come together and learn his knowledge. But our people, we rather serve these other nations. And the Most High, he gave us a choice. We either going to serve these other nations or we're going to serve him, right? Let me get Deuteronomy 28 and 47. Let's see what's going to happen if we serve these other nations. He got the nerve to say, y'all serve us long, man. The Most High already said that we his servants, right? So us being servants of him, we got to attend his service. Bring that up.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 47. Because thou servest not the Most High thy power.
Right, because that brother didn't want to serve the Most High on the Sabbath day, the day that the Most High commanded us to serve the Most High. Read on.
With joyfulness and gladness of heart.
Right, so we're going to get into that too. It's not even just enough to serve the Most High. We got to do it willingly, right? Read.
For the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
No, you should serve your friends.
Serve thine enemies.
You're going to serve Becky by the water cooler.
Serve thine enemies.
That means we got to serve our enemies, man. The Most High, he give us a choice. We either going to serve him, we either going to serve him in our prosperity or we going to serve these other nations in our captivity. So which one you want to choose, man? Like I said, to whom much is given, much is required. Ekadash. To whom much is given, much is required, right? It's a blessing for us to know who we are. We got so many people walking around here that don't know their heritage. They don't know where they're going. They don't know when they come in. And we got the privilege of knowing that we Israelites. And we can't take this lightly, man. Let me get 2 Timothy 2 and 24. So now that we know that as Israelites, we are the servants of the Most High, what exactly does that mean? What is the role that we play as servants, man? We got to find that out.
Read. This is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2 and verse 24. And the servant of the Most High must not strive.
Right. So we're not supposed to be struggling with everybody with these scriptures, right? A lot of times we try to force this word on people. People going to make a decision whether they're going to serve the Most High or not. Right? The most that we can really do is just plant the seed for them. Hopefully another person come down, they water the seed and the Most High can get the increase. Read.
But to be gentle unto all men. Apt to teach.
Apt to teach. So it's a requirement of a servant to teach. We got to be out here in these highways and byways teaching our people. Because a lot of our people don't know. A lot of our people, if we don't teach them as Israelites that a woman is supposed to keep her hymen until she get married, who else going to teach them that? Right. If we're not teaching our people, a young woman, she's supposed to keep her hymen intact until she found a man that's going to take care of her and the household. A man that's righteous, that's going to serve the Most High, that put the Most High first. How would they know that? If we don't teach our people that our young men are supposed to keep their rod in their pants until they find a woman and they could hold their own. They're not supposed to be sleeping from woman to woman to woman to woman, looking for another woman to take care of them like they're a little child. Right. How else would they know that? Because that's not what the society teaches our people, right? The society teach our men that it's okay for them to walk around with their pants down their butt, man. So it's our responsibility as Israelites, as the servants of the Most High, for us to be out here teaching other people. Read.
Patient and meekness, instructing those that oppose themselves.
Instructing those who oppose themselves. Because to be honest with you, if the Most High ain't wake us up to this truth, then how will we know either? Right. Some people don't know what they're doing is wrong. Right? Like even fornication. A lot of our men, like I said, they sleep from woman to woman to woman to woman. And when we was out on so-called Halloween teaching our people, we had a young man come up. Y'all don't fornicate. Y'all don't sleep with a lot of women. I think it's okay, right? Because I'm single. I could do that. As long as I don't tell them I ain't with them, I ain't adultery. But the Most I say, anybody that commits sexual fornication, it's opposed to himself. it's a sin to himself. He only hurting his own soul. So we got to teach our people, just because you think eating pork is harmless, you ain't killing nobody, right? Smoking cigarettes is harmless. You're not killing nobody else. You're opposing yourself. We got to teach our people how to love each other again, or love themselves again, because you're opposing yourself out here, man. We got to reawaken ourselves. We've been so indoctrinated, right? What Malcolm X say? Who taught you how to hate yourself? Right? Read.
If the Most High, peradventure, will give them repentance to the acknowledging of the truth.
Right. So all we can really do as servants of the Most High is plant this seed. We got to go to person, and let them know that the time of Jacob's trouble is coming up, man. And it's time for us to redeem ourselves. But all we can do is plant the seed. And if it's the Most High will, that person gonna wake up to this knowledge, to this wisdom, understanding the truth. Read.
And that they may recover themselves out of the snare of the devil.
Right. They got to pick up their mat and walk, man. It's not up to us to force feed somebody this truth. We could plant the seed, but they're going to have to redeem themselves out of this captivity. Just like we got to make sure we stay on our P's and Q's. Read.
Who are taken captive by him at his will. Going to chapter 3.
Now that's it on that. Let me get 1 Corinthians 9-16. Right, so we understand that we the servants of the Most High. We understand that servants of the Most High, that we got to be apt to teach. We got to be ready to teach at all times, right? So let's go further into that. Let's go deeper into that. You got that?
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 16. For though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to glory of.
Right. Just because we preach the gospel, just because we know who we are, according to the Bible, we're not supposed to be out here trying to get into scripture fights with everybody else, man. We got to understand that our sole purpose as servants of the Most High, especially in these last days, is that we're supposed to be reeling people in to him. It's not no glory in this truth, man. Trust me. If you think you're going to be some type of superstar in Israel, if you think it's going to be a lot of money that come with that, if you think your sole purpose to know these scriptures is to go out in the street and debate everybody, you wrong, man. Right? This is all for the Most High. We just trying to do the will of the Most High. We don't have anything to glory in this truth. Especially in this truth that we got, sometimes you got to be ready to be embarrassed, right? You got to be ready for people to talk behind your back, right? You got to be ready to be out of the normal, because the wisdom that we get from this Bible is not, it's not part of the society. It's not normal in the society, right? So there's no glory in this thing. Don't try to raise yourself up to be something that, could be taken away from you at any given time. Matter of fact, hold that. Let me get Sirach 1:30. The book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 1 and verse 30. Read.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 1 and verse 30. Exalt not thyself.
Exalt not thyself. Don't glorify yourself, right? Read.
Lest thou fall.
Lest thou fall. When you fall, you're going to fall flat on your face, man. Read.
And bring dishonor upon thy soul.
Right. So the only thing that's going to happen to you if you try to put yourself, you try to get glory out of doing the Most High work, is that you're going to fall on your face and you're going to dishonor your own self, man. The Most High going to expose you. Read.
And so the Most High discover thy secrets.
Right. The Most High here uncover your secrets, because we all got sins, right? But if you keep this word, if you do it willingly, if you want to preach the will of the Most High willingly, then he'll cover your secrets for you. But if you're out here trying to, glorify yourself, you try to exalt yourself, you're going to uncover your secrets. Read.
And cast thee down in the midst of the congregation.
Man, I got to be an embarrassing thing, man. Just imagine, you think you this, you that. I'm captain of 100. Right. I'm captain of 1,000. You justify yourself in this truth, right? and you're not giving the glory to the Most High, that's what's gonna happen to you. You're gonna get cast out in front of the whole congregation. We ain't gonna stone you with physical stones, but it ain't gonna be a good thing, man. It's gonna be a spiritual stoning that's gonna happen, man. Read.
Because thou camest not in the truth to the fear of the Most High.
Because what?
Because thou camest not in the truth to the fear of the Most High.
Right, you're not coming in this truth for the fear of the Most High. You was probably in the words looking for attention, seeking attention, trying to be somebody, right? So you come in this truth trying to do the same thing, you're going to get cast down. Read.
But thy heart is full of deceit.
Right, we already know the heart is deceitful among all things. Go back to 2 Timothy. Let me get 2 Timothy again. Bring it out. What's the precept?
Jeremiah 20 verse 19. Because we're talking about if he teach not the gospel.
Jeremiah 20 and 19. It's not a Jeremiah 20 and 19. 18?
Sorry, Jeremiah 20 verse 9.
Con. Bring that out.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 20 and verse 9. Then I said, I will not make mention of him, nor speak any more in his name. But his word was in mine heart as a burning fire, shut up in my bones. And I was weary with forbearing, and I could not stay.
That's it on that? Okay, con. Read that one more time.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 20 and verse 9. Then I said, I will not make mention of him, nor speak any more in his name. But his word was in mine heart as a burning fire, shut up in my bones. And I was weary with forbearing, and I could not stay.
Okay.
1 Corinthians 9 verse 16. It was saying that though he speak the gospel, it's not for his glory. It's the Most High. So
right, and it's saying this in the scripture, if you're not speaking his name, that word gonna burn up in you.
yeah, so Jeremiah, when the Most High give him the word, it would be like Jonah and set him out, and he
Right.
didn't want to do it, and still the word is gonna come out.
That word gonna come out either way. And sometimes, the Most High, he'll use you as a vessel. You want to glorify yourself, okay? You speaking the word of the Most High, but he's still gonna cast you down at the end of the day. He gonna use you to get to somebody else that really want to hear that word. We see it happen all the time, man. People coming in and out of this school, they try to glorify, and they learn some new doctrine on YouTube, right? They think they too big for LOZ or they too big for the truth. They end up going somewhere else, and then they come back months later jacked up. We see it all the time, man. The Most High, he gonna use you either way. This word gonna come out, but you either gonna be obedient to him and seek your salvation and get your salvation, or he gonna cast you away. He gonna spew you out of his mouth. Mm-hmm. And they can't stand on those doctrines. Pride come before the destruction. Yeah, drop that. Let me get 2 Timothy again. 2 Timothy 2 and 24.
Go ahead. I think we just read this one. 2 Timothy.
Yeah, bring it back.
Corinthians, you mean? I think it was 2 Corinthians 16 and 19.
Come on. 1 Corinthians 9 and 16, Salaki. To whom much is given, much is required. We got to make sure we acting accordingly, because I see this not saved in the kingdom yet. We're not the Christian church. We ain't walking around talking about we saved.
Right.
Your destruction could come like that. The Most High could take away your blessings in the blink of an eye. We got to strive for the salvation daily, on a daily basis, without cease. This ain't the Christian church. It ain't that, all that you got to do is call in the name of Jesus and that's it. It don't work like that. We're going to prove that tonight. Read.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 16. For though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to glory of.
Right.
For necessity is laid upon me. Yea, woe is unto me if I preach not the gospel.
Destruction is up to you if you preach not the gospel. So this is a required thing. It's non-negotiable. We gotta teach this gospel, right? Read.
For if I do this thing willingly,
if we do this thing willing, we gotta be willing to do this thing, right? A lot of people, they come in here, right? Like I said before, they serve these other nations. They work 2 and 3 jobs, then they act like they tired when they get up in here. Right. They don't want to sing the praises. They act like they sick or something. You know, they act like they gotta pee. You see them shaking and stuff like they ready to leave at any moment. Right. They just here to save face, but we gotta do this thing willingly, man. And the fact of the matter is, the more that you get into this truth, the more that you seek the knowledge, you're gonna want to be here. Sometimes you don't even want to leave, man. You know, you go out the camp, we be up there for 4 or 5 hours. Sometimes, you know, when it's an event like so-called Halloween, so-called Black Friday, we about to get it in. We're gonna get it popping, man. We're gonna be out there till like 3, 4 in the morning. It's like we enjoy that. We enjoy bringing out the will of the Most High. You know, that's an honorable thing to do. You know, we got to wake up Jacob because we trying to seal the 144,000. We trying to get about this captivity, right? Read.
Verse 17. For if I do this thing willingly, I have a reward.
Right, your reward of salvation. Read.
But if against my will.
If against your will, what's going to happen?
A dispensation of the gospel.
Pause. What's a dispensation? Who knows what a dispensation is? Let's look it up. You know, we really study this Bible. We're not just going to gloss over words if we don't understand what they mean. How are we going to know what the scripture's talking about if we're not looking up the words we don't understand, right? So what's a dispensation? An exemption, right? So read that again.
Verse 17. For if I do this thing willingly, I have a reward. But if against my will.
Read.
A dispensation.
An exemption, right? Read.
Of the gospel is committed unto me.
Right. So if you're not preaching this doctrine willingly, you're going to be exempt from the gospel. You're going to be exempt from the oracles. You're going to be exempt from the salvation. You're going to be exempt from everything Hamashiach Yahushua, you know, came to life for and died on the cross for. Right? So you don't want to be in the truth. You don't want to be at LOZ for 10, 15, 20 years, here faithfully like a Christian every Saturday, you know, but you're not doing it willingly. So the Most High, he cast you out with the rest of the 2/3. Right? It's just like when you was a child, right? Your mama will tell you, you know, go wash them dishes, go take out that trash. If she hear you huffing and puffing, not only you gonna take out that trash, you're gonna get your behind whipped too. I'm gonna just say that. Right. You're going to get your behind with, man. We got to be able to do this thing willingly because we do everything else willingly, right? When we was in the world, we was doing Christmas willingly. We ain't had no problem with that. You know, when we was out in the world, we was celebrating Halloween willingly, right? We serving the master willingly right now. So we got to be willing to serve the Most High so we can have our salvation. Read on.
Verse 18. What is my reward then? Verily that, when I preach the gospel, I may make the gospel of a Mashiach without charge.
Right. Read.
That I abuse not my power in the gospel.
So why does it say I abuse not my power? Why does it say that?
Because you don't want to boast in it, like you were saying earlier about people coming here thinking that they're gonna be some kind of top-notch.
Right.
Power that comes with knowing the gospel.
That's what I was looking for. This is power. This word is powerful, man. You know, this is not a light thing. That's why I say, to whom much is given, much is required. We literally are wielding a two-edged sword. Whenever we carry our Bible, whenever we speak the oracles of the Most High of our tongue, we got power, man. With power comes authority, right? So with this power, we could either raise people from the dead, you know, heal the blind, heal the deaf people, or we could literally send somebody to their death with this word. We could curse people with this word, man. This word is powerful. Come on.
Hebrews 4:12.
Let's get it.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 4 and verse 12. For the word of God is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart.
It's one of my favorite scriptures. The word of the Most High is quick and powerful. It's sharper than any two-edged sword. This thing is a weapon that we wielding right now. Just like any gun or any other weapon, you can either protect your house and hunt with it, or you can kill somebody with it. You know, and just because we know this word is not up to us to go out here just slinging this sword like that, man. We gotta be careful with it. You know. Go ahead.
It also reminds me of like the book of Eli. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's in the wrong hands, you could do wrong with it.
Exactly.
If it's in the good hands, you could do good with it. So you could use it both ways.
I mean, that's really what the white man did to this Bible, man. They took the Bible from us. They remixed it. They spin on it. They gave it back to us, and now we serving Nimrod on December 25th. Now we serving a bunny that lay eggs on Easter, right? And our people, they so wrapped up in this thing, man. You know, like you said, it can either be used for good or for evil. But we got this word. You know, we was blessed enough for the Most High to wake us up, so we got to use this word responsibly, right? I think it's one more scripture in 1 Corinthians. Let me get verse 19.
1 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 19. For though I be free from all men, yet have I made myself servant unto all.
He made myself a servant. Here go that word again. We're a servant to the Most High. So that's our role here, right? To whom much is given, much is required. So we have to serve the Most High, you know. Read that again.
For though I be free from all men, yet have I made myself servant unto all.
Right. So we're not going to serve their doctrines, but at the same time, we got to serve men. And that's the way that we serve the Most High. Right? Go ahead.
That I might gain the more.
Come on. Drop that. Let me get 1 Peter 5 and 2.
This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 2. Feed the flock of the Most High.
Right. Feed the flock of Yahweh. This is a requirement. This is a commandment from us. Read.
Which is among you. Taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint.
Not by the constraint, but what?
But willingly.
But willingly. Here it is again. The Most High, he give us very clear instructions on how to serve him. You know, he give us very clear instructions on what our responsibility is. Read.
Not for filthy lucre.
What is filthy lucre? What is lucre? Let's look that up now.
1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 2.
Can anybody tell me what lucre is? It's pretty close. It's pretty close.
It says money, especially when regards as sordid or distasteful or gain.
Right. So we're not supposed to use this word, right, to benefit from it with money or distasteful gain. So when you see all these pastors, Creflo Dollar, you know the names, man. Creflo Dollar, TD Jakes, you know. All these pastors, they doing it for the money, you know.
I don't want to say it's a precept, but it's the same thing. Speaking Zephaniah 11, be the flock of Basala.
Okay, it's not really what we're going, but yeah. A good precept to go with this, I believe, will be Micah 3 and 11, right? Let's hold that. Get Micah 3 and 11 real quick. But we're not supposed to be doing this for the reward, man. As you can see, it ain't no money in Israel. You know, we ain't running around in a $1 billion jet talking about we gotta spread the word. We ain't going on, $1,000 trips to Africa. Right. Most of us in here, you know, we doing this because we really got the will of the Most High on us. We got the spirit of the Most High in us. We want to do this thing. When we go out to teach, we're not asking for no money. We're not asking for no donations, right? We're not passing around a collection plate. We're really doing this because we're trying to wake up Jacob in these last days. Get that?
This is the book of Micah, chapter 3 and verse 11. The heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire, and the prophets thereof divine for money. Yet will they lean upon the Most High and say, is not the Most High among us?
Right, ain't that what these pastors do? You know, they pull up in the BMW, they pull off in a nice jet, the private jet, and they say the Most High is with us. But clearly the Most High say, you know, we're not supposed to be doing that. We're not supposed to be doing this for reward. You know, it's not up for us to get the glory, right? Drop that. Go back to 1 Peter's. 1 Peter's 5 and 3 now.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 3. Neither as being lords over the Most High's heritage, but being ensamples to the flock.
Right. This is not our word. This is the word of the Most High. We're doing the Most High's will. You know, it's not up to us to be trying to, you know, come up with new doctrines. It's not up to us to be trying to exalt ourselves, trying to glorify ourselves. That's not for us to be doing. You know, as soon as the Most High give you that blessing, he can snap his fingers and that could be gone from you. Right? Drop that. Let me get Isaiah 61 and 1.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 61 and verse 1. The Spirit of the Most High, thy power, is upon me, because the Most High hath anointed me to preach good things unto the meek.
Right, so it's up to us. It's our responsibility to preach, right? He anointed us to preach, right? Read.
He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound.
Right, so going back to what we said about this truth, it's a lot of power in the words that we speak. It's a lot of responsibility that we have knowing this word, because we can either cast people into death or we can raise them for the dead, right? So we got to be responsible how we bring out this truth, right? Let me get Matthews 10 and 34. You know, it's not always going to be glorious and luxurious living in this Israelite life. You know, it's not always going to be glorious. You're going to have to endure some things. You know, you might have to separate from people that you love. You know, I know a lot of people that come to the school here, men and women, they go home to their wife, they go home to their husband, right? And their house is divided. You know, their husband or their wife, they don't want to accept this truth. And that's what the Most High said is going to happen in these last days, right? Bring that out.
This is the book of Matthew chapter 10 and verse 34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword.
Right, a sword, right, a two-edged sword. Read.
For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
Right. So LOZ or the rest of Israel, we your family, man. You know, I was just talking to my mother on the phone last night. She was telling me, when you first got into being an Israelite, when you first got into the truth, you was a beast, man. You know, you was trying to cut everybody. You know, I had a lot of family members that wanted to put the paws on me, man. I had an uncle in Chicago. He was talking about flying down here just to put the paws on me, man. You know, this word is going to separate your friends and your family. It's going to separate the people that you love, right? Read.
And a man's foes shall be they of his own household.
Right, so we got to expect that as servants of the Most High, as people that's trying to keep the will of the Most High, you know, we're going to have to be separate from other people, right? Read.
He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me.
Right.
And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me.
Right.
And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me.
Right. So we not worthy of the Most High if we not willing to follow him. You know, something that happened to me like 2 or 3 years ago, you know, I just started coming to LOZ. It was right around the holiday time. And you know what? Around the holidays, we go in on the scriptures. Nimrod, you know, Christmas, that's a wicked thing. That's an abomination, man. Thanksgiving, that's an abomination. So I let my people know. I let my family know I'm not dealing with Christmas. I'm not coming over for Christmas, you know. And they tricked me, man. I ain't gonna lie. They tricked me. So this is what happened, right? So I told them I'm not coming over on Monday. I think the actual Christmas on Monday, so-called Christmas, right? So that Saturday, they like, you know, we haven't seen you in so long. You know, we just want to see you come over, have dinner. You know, it was after Shabbat service. It was late. I wasn't violating the Sabbath, but I came over there to see my family, right? No, I wasn't double. Come on, you going on? That's the whole point of the story. I wasn't double dipping, but they ambushed me, right? So I go through the door a couple days before so-called Christmas. I told them I'm not celebrating Christmas. I'm just going over there to, you know, maybe just chill, have some food, maybe have a drink. You know, they ambushed me. As soon as I come in the door, Merry Christmas. Christmas came early, man. They had gifts for me. You know, all type of gifts, man. You know, I think they had a jacket for me, new shirt, some new socks, like some workout socks. You know, they know I was working on my workout stuff heavy. They got me they got me stuff that I like, right? You know, and I'm sure they did it, you know, because they love me. They wanna give me nice things. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say that their heart was in the wrong place, but at the same time, you know, they understand I don't celebrate Christmas. So what happened was the next day, you know, or the day that night, matter of fact, you know, I was sick to my stomach. I couldn't go to sleep. My spirit wasn't right, man. Like, you know, I had the fake smile on the whole time. My soul just ripping apart while I'm sitting in front of these people with this fake so-called Christian smile on, man. So the day after that, I called my Captain Bayoff. I let them know what happened, man. They ambushed me. I tried to tell them, man. I tried to tell them I wasn't celebrating no Christmas, man. They came through with the gifts for me, right? So he was like, man, if you really feel like that, get the gifts back. I'm like, get the gifts back. I got to get the gifts back. So, you know, I thought about it. You know, later on that day, I was like, you right, man. You know, I don't celebrate Christmas. This one no gifts that's righteous, man. This don't come with righteousness. It come with them. They looking at me. I'm telling them I don't celebrate Christmas. And now I'm looking like, you know, a hypocrite, right? Because I accepted the gifts. I don't celebrate Christmas, but I'm accepting all the gifts, right? Yeah, get that out. Ecclesiastes 7:7. But you know, I sent them a text with the precept. You know, we going over how this word gonna split your family, but it's very important to use this scripture strategically, right? So the first thing I put was the Jeremiah 10:1-5. Blam. You know, I don't celebrate Christmas, and this is why. Right? I know that y'all gave me these gifts in good favor. You know, but at the same time, I let y'all know this is not what I do. This is the birth of Nimrod we're celebrating. Y'all shouldn't be celebrating this either. You know, I love y'all, but this is what it is. I'm an Israelite, you know, and we don't do that, you know. Get that.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7:7. Surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart.
A gift destroyeth the heart, man. And that's what happened to me now. That's what happened to me that night, man. My heart was destroyed. It was eating me up inside because I know that gift didn't come in righteousness. They ambushed me, man. They tried to bamboozle me. 20 and 25? 25. Come on. I'm going to get that. Come on.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 20:29. Presents and gifts blind the eyes of the wise, and stop up his mouth that he cannot reprove.
Right. I ain't gonna lie, I want to rebuke them the whole night, but I'm just stuck, man. They gave me gifts, though. What am I supposed to do? They gave me what I wanted.
Right. That's a cutter right there.
Right. That's a straight razor blade right there, man. We can't just be accepting gifts. Everything that people give to you is not in righteousness. You know, the devil, Shaitan, he can give you gifts too. He can give you blessings too. You know, we shouldn't be out here accepting every gift, because sometimes gifts come with strings to it, right? You know, so that's for all the double dippers, man. Sometimes you got to separate from your family. I know it's hard. You haven't seen them. You haven't seen Boo Boo and Ray Ray in so long, in a couple months. But don't let that be a reason for you to go off and double dip, man. You know, you can see them any other day. And the Most High, He gave us specific holidays that we supposed to be keeping. You know, people be like, well, it's for the kids. The new moon is for the kids every month, man.
Right.
You know, Feast of Tabernacles. Once you experience the Feast of Tabernacles one time, you never even think about Christmas, man. That's way better than Christmas, man. I would never trade Christmas for Tabernacles, for real. You know, we get to enjoy each other company every month in some type of way. Passover, Tabernacles, Feast of Fruits, Pentecost. You know, we out here. Back to the topic, though. To whom much is given, much is required. If you want to precept Isaiah 61:1, you could do it with Luke 4:18. You know, the Spirit of Most High is upon us, right? He anointed us to teach, and Hamashiach Yahushua, he went to the temple on the Sabbath day, and he read that, right? So who are we to think that we better than Yahushua? He told us that first, and Yahushua just followed orders from the Most High. You know, and we got to follow suit as well. We got to come out here and teach. Let me get 2 Corinthians 11:22. Right? The brother Maharakah, he got a song called Hard Life of an Israelite. You know, and we want salvation. We seeking the kingdom right now. We trying to take the kingdom, but what we got to understand, what comes with being a servant right now in our captivity, it's us going through some hardships. You know, you see some brothers, they be like, man, I can't come to Shabbat. I got to work, man. You know, they end up taking Shabbat every week. They working. You know, they stop wearing their fringes. They stop coming to LOZ. They stop coming to Passover. You see them a few months after that, they more jacked up than when they started. Right? You got that? 2 Corinthians 11. 22.
This is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 11, and verse 22. Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I.
Right.
Are they the seed of Abraham? So am I. Are they ministers of Christ? I speak as a fool. I am more.
Right.
In laborers, more abundant. In stripes, above measure. In prisons, more frequent. In deaths, oft.
Right. So just to give you a little backstory on what's going on here, Paul, he talking about, you know, they always criticize Paul in the New Testament. They try to say he was a false prophet. Right. They always tried to prove himself. They thought he was trying to bring Edomites into the temple. Right. So he kind of bragging a little bit right here. I'm a Hebrew. I'm an Israelite. Who more of an Israelite than me? Right. You know, I've been through it all. You know, I was there with Hamashiach Yahushua. Right. Read.
Of the Jews, 5 times received I 40 stripes.
Right. So even from his own people, from the people that he come from, his brothers and sisters, he received 40 stripes. Right. Read.
Save one. Thrice was I beaten with rods. Once I was stoned. Thrice I suffered shipwreck. A night and a day I have been in the deep. In the journeyings often, in perils of waters, in perils of robbers, in perils by mine own countrymen.
By his own countrymen, right?
In perils by the heathen.
Right, so he been through it with Israelites and the heathen, man. Right. That sounds like the modern day version of us. Right. You know, we go out, we try to seek our own people. We go out, hold camp. We try to teach them that the kingdom of heaven is for them. Right? They want to pour beer in front of us. They want to fight us sometimes. They spit at us. They throw in rocks and everything. And then when we go into the world, Esau trying to deal with us. They trying to throw us in prison, right? They trying to kill us out on the streets, all because we trying to stand for righteousness in this world. And that's what Paul going through right here, right? Read.
In perils in the city, in perils in the wilderness, in perils in the sea, in perils among false brethren, in weariness, in painfulness, in watchings often, in hunger and in thirst, in fastings often.
And that brother Paul was going through it, man.
Right.
Read.
In cold and nakedness, beside those things that are without, that which cometh upon me daily the care of all the churches, who is weak, and I am not weak, who is offended, and I burn not.
Right.
If I must needs glory, I will glory of the things which concern mine infirmities.
Exactly. So Paul, he a super Israelite. He bragging a little bit like, I've been through it all, man. I've been shot up. I done been stabbed up. I done fought the heathen. I done fought the Israelites. But he's saying, even with all that, I don't have nothing to glory about, man. You know, I could talk crazy if I want to, but at the same time, all the glory go to Hamashiach Yahushua. It all go to the Most High. And we got to have that same attitude, right? Because a lot of times, like I said, we got people that say, man, I've been working so long. I've been working 2 jobs, man. I can't make it. I'm just too tired, man. Yeah, I'm going to make it next week. You know, them be the same people that you'll never see again, man.
Yeah, it's the same thing in Isaiah 20. Verse 10, it's the same thing Isaiah was going through. That's why he was saying that even when he don't want to talk, want to speak the word of God, you know, it burns in him, and he got to say it, right?
Right.
It goes on by saying that they wait for his downfall, trying to hurt him. Pretty much the same thing Paul was going through, with the same thing that Jeremiah was going through.
Right. We seeking our salvation right now, man. We in captivity. We're going to go through some hard things. But don't use that as an excuse for you not to be here at Shabbat service and for you not to minister this word, right? Captain Mashah, he been working all day. He came from West Palm Beach to come and open up the school just so we could teach tonight, man. And he do that thing faithfully. Can't nobody tell me nothing. I was working 2 jobs last year, man. You know, I said faithfully on Shabbat service. And now that I got the privilege to have 1 job now, I'm trying to come even more. You know, I'm trying to come to soldiers class. I'm trying to go to camp more often. You know, we got to be seeking this thing diligently. We all seeking salvation, but we're seeking things. If we really want something, we're going to prove it, right? We're going to spend the time to try to do it. Don't use your labor. Don't use everything that you're going through as an excuse, because we all tired. Trust me. We all tired out here, man. Let me get Sirach 2, 1-6. That's just a part of us being Israelites in these last days. That's one of the requirements of us being an Israelite. You know, I'm not sure if Shamwala touched on this as far as like the pros or cons of being an Israelite, but it fall right in suit with that, you know.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 2 and verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Most High.
There go that word again, serve, right? Read.
Prepare thy soul for temptation.
We got to be prepared for temptation. Read on.
Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at the last end.
Mm-hmm.
Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully.
Right. We got to take everything that comes to us cheerfully. Reason being is that we see in the prophecies of the Bible unfold right before our very eyes. Right? If we see all these things that's going on in these last days in the society and we don't take cheer of it, you know, we ain't no better than the Christian church. You know, if every time something happened to us, we ready to stop coming to Shabbat service, we ready to stop coming to LOZ, we ready to stop being Israelites and turning our fringes, then what better are we than the Christians, right? Read.
And be patient when thou art changed to a lower state.
We got to be patient, right? We got to be patient. We got to take our time with this because it's very powerful that we have his word. Most of our people pull over to Popeyes and get a chicken sandwich before they go to heaven, man. They're gonna end up missing their place in line because they too concerned about these worldly things, right? We got to be patient with this truth. Read.
For gold is tried in the fire.
For gold is tried in the fire, right?
And acceptable men in the furnace of adversity.
We got to be ready to endure adversity.
Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him.
Right. So let me get Matthew 25:14. Right. So we just going over the responsibilities that we have as Israelites, because to whom much is given, much is required. And we got to remember that. You know, we're not just going to skate to the kingdom just because we got that we Israelites. Right. We're not supposed to be using this word to be out here battling people with scriptures and everything. You know, we got to use these scriptures skillfully. We got to use it carefully. We got to use it strategically, you know, because it's a very thin line between the 1/3 and the 2/3. You know, we got to act accordingly.
24.
Matthew 25 and 14.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 25 and verse 14.
Uh-huh.
For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own, he delivered unto them his goods. And unto one he gave 5 talents.
He gave unto him 5 talents. So what is a talent exactly? Right?
Yeah, something you're good at.
You know, the Most High, Hamashiach used to speak in parables. So talent, you know, if you look up the word, is actually a measurement of currency, right? So in the story, he's talking about Greek currency, but like you said, if we talking about in parable terms, it's a skill. It's a skill that the Most High gave you. So the Most High, he gives us all gifts. He gives all type of skills. So it's on us. It's our responsibility to use those skills for righteousness, right? Read.
And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey. Then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same, and made them other 5 talents. And likewise he that had received 2, he also gained other 2. But he that had received 1 went and digged in the earth and hid his Lord's money.
Right. So a lot of us, like even when it comes to singing, for instance, right? We get a lot of people, they come in here, you know, when the praise go up, they're like, they don't know none of the words of the songs. They just mumbling. There's no power. Right? They the first people that leave and go to their cars, you know, when we send up the praise. They just been waiting so long to go ahead and go home. But I bet you Wednesday when they go to players, right? They get a couple shots of that Hennessy. They'll be up there singing that R. Kelly. Right? Seems like you're ready. They up there singing, right? But we got to use our talents for the Most High. You know, you ready to sing at players every Wednesday night. You ready to sing karaoke, but you need to be in here singing the praises of the Most High. Right? The Most High, he gave us those gifts to use for him. So if you don't like the songs that we singing, if you feel like you want to sing something different, you know, come up with a song. You should be leading the praise, man. You know, we got a place to record. You can record for free. You know, you can hit up either me or Brother Asaph, but we need to be trying to multiply our talents in this truth. The Most High, he gave us these gifts not to serve the world. He gave us to give, to multiply these talents, right, and serve him. Read on.
Verse 19. After a long time, the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoneth with them. And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more. His Lord said unto him, Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things.
Thou hast been faithful among a few things, right? So what?
I will make thee ruler over many things.
Right. A lot of us get complacent over our gifts. How can we expect the Most High to give us more? We always begging the Most High for more. You know, we always asking him to give us more talents, give us more money, right? How you gonna bless us with a new car if we can't do good with the stuff that we already have, man? Right? Read on.
Enter thou into the joy of the Most High. He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents beside them.
Right.
His Lord said unto him, Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things.
Thou hast been faithful over a few things, right? So what?
I will make thee ruler over many things.
Right. The Most High, if we be faithful over a few things, he's going to make us a ruler over more things than we can even expect. He's going to give us more responsibilities. He's going to give us more authority. He's going to give us more blessings if we deal with what he give us with righteousness, right? If we appreciate the little things that he give us to deal with. Read.
Enter thou into the joy of the Lord. Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art an hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed. And I was afraid, and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast that is thine. Salakia. His Lord answered and said unto him, Thou wicked and slothful servant.
Thou wicked and slothful servant. Right? If we're not using our gifts for the Most High, if we're not trying to multiply our talents, if we're not trying to use our talents for the better good of Israel, it's a slothful thing. That's a deadly sin, man. That's one of the 7 deadly sins. We can't be out here being slothful with this truth, right? Like I said, if you're working 60 hours, 70 hours for Esau, don't expect to come in here on the Sabbath day or not come in, use that as an excuse to not come in for the Sabbath day, right? And expect salvation, right? Because we all got stuff going on. But the Most High, he gave us gifts and he gave us instructions that he wants us to multiply, for him, to raise up his name, right? Read.
Thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gather where I have not strawed. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received mine own with usury. Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which hath 10 talents.
Right, so anytime that you're using your talents and you're not using them for the Most High, right, or you're not using your talents at all, you're not trying to multiply it for the better good of Israel, the Most High, he could take those talents away from you at a snap of a finger. Right, he could take those talents from you at any given time and give them to somebody else. So we got to use that talent wisely. We got to use that talent skillfully and strategically. Right? Read.
For unto everyone that hath given, Salakia, for unto everyone that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he hath. And cast ye the unprofitable servant into outer darkness.
Right. So it's really not enough for us just to be, knowing that we Israelites. We really supposed to be out here serving the Most High. We got to be using our talents to multiply them and raise the name of the Most High. Just because we know we're Israelites, it's a very thin line between us and the 2/3. We got to be working at this thing diligently on a daily basis. Drop that. Let me get 1 Peter 4:10.
This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 10. As every man hath received a gift, even so minister the same one to another.
Right, so that goes back to the last parable that we read. We all receive a gift, but we got to use that gift to minister to other people. Right, read.
As good stewards of the manifold grace of the Most High. If any man speak, let him speak the oracles of the Most High. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which the Most High giveth.
Right, so we all got our different talents. Some people, we might cook food. Some of us, we do the music. We like to draw. But we got to use these talents to raise up the Most High. Like, even before I came into the truth, and my mother knew who she was as an Israelite, she tried to warn me about doing tattoos, right? So back in Chicago, back in the day, a long time ago, she tried to warn me about Leviticus 19:28. And it's crazy because our people will be Christian. They pick what they want out the Bible. She'll, eat pork and, different stuff like that. And like I said, her heart was in the right place, but she knew that it was a sin for me to be doing tattoos. Right now, I was doing tattoos out of the house. So eventually, what happened to me is that a home invasion came about. Some kids, they tried to run in my house and they shot me up a couple times. They shot me in the head. They shot me in the back. But that's only because I'm using my gifts for wickedness instead of righteousness. So for us to serve the Most High, our responsibility is to use our gifts for righteousness, because the Most High, he could take those talents away from us at any given time, and he can cast judgment on us at any time, right? So like the last parable said, when he gives us a little bit and we do righteous with it, he can multiply those things and give us a lot. Read on.
If any man minister, let him do it as the ability which the Most High giveth, that the Most High in all things may be glorified through Hamashiach Yahushua.
Right. All the glory is supposed to go to Hamashiach Yahushua, not us. Read.
To whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you.
Right. So it's not a strange thing that something is happening to you, because we all going through it in these last days, man. Right. Don't use that as no excuse to not be at the Passover. Right? Don't use that as an excuse to not to be at Hanukkah, man. You know, we all seeking the kingdom of heaven. So we find time for stuff that we really want to be, we find time for stuff that we really want to do. And if you want to serve the Most High, if you really got the will of the Most High on you, you got to expect that you're going to go through some things, man. It's not an easy thing. 1 week, you might get an eviction notice. The next week, you might lose your job, But like I said, you got to make sure you coming around your brothers and your sister, and not forsaking the assembly, because the Most High, He's not going to fail you. He's going to make sure you get through that. Read.
But rejoice inasmuch as ye are partakers of a Mashiach sufferings, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy.
Right. So everybody, they want to get the glory, but at the same time, they don't want to go through anything. Right. The Bible says that Israel is a nation of kings and priests. Right. So how do you expect to have a kingdom if you're not willing to preach to him? Right. You're not willing to preach to his people. You're not willing to go through any adversity. Read.
If ye be reproached for the name of a Mashiach, happy are ye. For the spirit of glory and of the Most High resteth upon you. On their part he is evil spoken of, but on your part he is glorified. But let none of you suffer as a murderer, or as a thief, or as an evildoer, or as a busybody in other men's matters. Yet if any man suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify the Most High on his behalf.
Right. So even in our affliction, we're supposed to raise and lift up the name of Hamashiach Yahushua. Right. Read on.
For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of the Most High.
Right. We living in the third day right now. All these other nations, they got their missiles pointed to America. We already know the prophecies, and that's why we should be joyous right now. We're not supposed to be wishing on the day of the Most High, because that's a terrible thing. But at the same time, as Israelites, we understand that this judgment has to come to pass for us to get the kingdom, for us to inherit the kingdom, right? So the Bible says that the judgment must begin at the house of the Most High, right? It's going to start with us. Read.
And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of the Most High?
Right.
And if the righteous shall scarcely be saved.
And if the righteous shall scarcely be saved. So we really got to make sure that we're keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, because the righteous is going to scarcely make it. The Bible said the elect is going to scarcely make it. So just imagine, what about these people that don't want to hear or forbear the word of the Most High? Right? Read.
Where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear?
Right. Where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? Read.
Wherefore, let them that suffer according to the will of the Most High commit the keeping of their souls to him in well-doing, as unto a faithful creator.
Con. Let me get Ezekiel 9:4.
I was thinking about that.
Ezekiel 9:4, man. It's not a light thing for us to know this truth. We know our heritage from this Bible. We know that we got the law, statutes, and commandments, right? We got to do this thing willingly. We got to be able to preach willingly, right? We got to be able to teach others, right? We got to keep these commandments, because even the elect is going to scarcely make it. So we got to figure out exactly what is the Most High wanting from us. What does he want us to do for us to get our salvation? So we won't be like everybody else that's going to get cast into the fire. Give me a comment when you get it.
Come on.
Read.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 9 and verse 4. And the Most High said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry.
Right. What's the mark? Who knows what the mark is? The truth?
Philosophy of the Most High.
Right.
Philosophy, the correct doctrine.
Right. So what we supposed to be doing is we supposed to be going out in the streets like we do on the Shabbat day or any other day. We set up camp, right? And we go throughout the streets, in the highways and the byways, in the hoods, the ghettos, the slums, and we teaching our people, setting a mark on their foreheads, right? Read.
For all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And to the others he said in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eye spare, neither have you pity.
Right. So it's a righteous thing for us to reprove our brothers and sisters out here. You know, a lot of people ask, why y'all out here in these garments? Why y'all out here telling people about the Bible? Don't nobody want to hear that, man. But the Most High, he's sending his fishers first, and then he bringing the what's that? The hunters. He bringing the hunters next, right? And it's our responsibility to bring that seed. We got to bring the seed. Somebody else might bring the water, but the Most High get the increase. But if people don't want to hear it for a bear, they're going to get that sniper, man. They're going to get the hunter, right? So it's our responsibility as servants and as Israelites to make sure we going and letting our people know, you know, what's going on in these last days, because their blood will be on our hands. Read.
Verse 6.
Slay
utterly old and young, both maids and little children, and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark.
Right. So the Most High, he's not going to have any pity for anybody when it comes to the last day, because we all getting a chance to hear his word. You know, we in the highways, we in the byways, we in front of Popeyes, we in front of Walmart, we in the ghettos and the slums. Right. You know, right now he's sounding the alarms, you know, and in that last day, it's not going to be any mercy. But he said, don't go to any man that has the mark. Right. So with these scriptures, like I said before, it's very powerful that we have this knowledge. We got to use it wisely. It's not up to us to be trying to get in no battle or no debate with nobody. You know, it might end up being like that. You know, sometimes when you're talking about the Bible, about the scriptures, it get heated. But at the same time, our sole purpose is try to reel other people in and let them understand that they're Israelites. Right? Because our salvation not even sealed right now. You know, we can slip and be in the 2/3. But we got to use this Bible skillfully, man. We try to wake our people up so we can get out this captivity. Read.
And begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. And he said unto them, defile the house and fill the courts with the slain. Go ye forth. And they went forth and slew in the city. And it came to pass while they were slaying them, and I was left, that I fell upon my face and cried and said, are the Most High thy power? Wilt thou destroy all the residue of Israel, and thou pouring out of thy fury upon Jerusalem? Then said he unto me, the iniquity of the house of Israel and Judah is exceeding great, and the land is full of blood, and the city full of perverseness. For they say, the Most High hath forsaken the earth, and the Most High seeth not. And as for me also, mine eye shall not spare.
Right. There you go. Cry loud, spare not. You know, sometimes we got to deal harshly with our people, you know, because we giving them a warning. The Most High, he's not going to be giving them no warning, man. He's not going to be sparing anybody. He's going to be killing old, young, men, women, and children, you know. But us as Israelites, it's our responsibility to make sure we plant that seed and come out here and bring this word out, man. Read.
Neither will I have pity, but I will recompense their way upon their head. And behold, the man clothed with the linen, which had the inkhorn by his side, reported the matter, saying, I have done as thou hast commanded me.
Come on, we got to do what the Most High command us, man. You know, we got to seek our salvation in these last days. And part of that is trying to find other people that's like-minded like us to set the mark on their forehead. You know, we're trying to seal 144,000. Drop that. Let me get 2 Peter 2:20. All right, so we're going over what are the responsibilities of an Israelite. To whom much is given, much is required. You know, this is a powerful thing that the Most High gave us, so we can't take it for granted. 2 Peter 2:20.
This is the book of 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 20. For if after they have escaped the pollutions of the world through the knowledge of the Most High and his Savior, Hamashiach Yahushua, they are again entangled therein, and overcome, the latter end is worse with them than the beginning.
Right, this is one of my favorite scriptures right here, man. Kadash, I'm sure you went over this scripture with blood in, blood out, right? Man, we see it every day. You know, even look at the news today. Look at Kodak Black, man. You know, I wish him the best, but he used to sit in that front row. It was a couple of days he sat in that front row. He received this truth. He was rapping, I'm an Israelite, my diamonds got real ice. Right? He know that he's an Israelite, but he wanted to go back into the world, right, and deal with the world. And like I said, I wish him the best, but we see this all the time. We see it every day. Right. You know, not just Kodak. I know he dealing with a lot of things, being that he in the industry, he dealing with money, but even us that just got regular 9-to-5s, right? We say that we Israelites, we YZZs, we stop coming to service. You know, we start making excuses, and what happened, man? We end up jacked up, and we come back without a car. You know, car get repoed. Right. You know, your phone off. You know, you're not dealing with the truth. The Most High, he gonna take that blessing away from you, man. You know, we see it all the time. What's going on? Yeah, Kodak was here before. He came here a couple times. He know who he is. A lot of our people waking up. Like, we go to the ghettos and the slums. It'd be like the dude with all the tattoos on his face. You know, all the jewelry on, sagging his pants. I know I'm an Israelite, right? But
he was locked in. Priest Kahan was teaching.
Right, we had the priest Kahan minister to him. Yeah.
And then when he got out, he started coming forward.
So that's why we going over this right now, because it's not enough to know that you're an Israelite. You're not sealing your salvation just by getting this knowledge, man. You know, a lot of our people is waking up, but if you're not going to, you know, take action, if you're not going to take heed, if you're not going out here be a servant to the Most High, if you don't want to be a priest to the Most High, if you don't want to be a priest to the Most High, if you want to get this knowledge of the truth and go back into the world, you're going to receive judgment. You know? Read.
Verse 21. For it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness than after they have known it, to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them.
Right. The Most High said it's even better for you to not even know this truth at all, for you to receive this truth and go back to doing what you was doing before you received the commandments of the Most High, man. That's how powerful this truth is. The Most High, he's not playing with our people in these last days, man. And like I said, we see in the judgment all the time. People come up in here, you know, they diligent. They come in every Shabbat, right? They speak in the Hebrew. You know, I don't even know how to speak the Hebrew fluently like that, but they speak in the Hebrew. They know all these deep breakdowns. They see one YouTube video, they off into the world again. You know, they come back a few months later like, you know, man, I was jacked up, man. I ain't gonna lie. I've been wanting to come back to the school, but, you know, I know my spirit wasn't right, man. I've been smoking weed. You know, I've been off in the booty club. I've been in the strip club. That's how our people are. You know, and it's a real thing. We got to stay. That's why the Bible say, forsake not the brethren, forsake not the assembly, man. You know, we all going through it. Like I said, one of the requirements of us being Israelites is for us to go through, you know, we got to go through this. We got to be refined right now. You know, and if you think you're seeing something right now, just wait till we go off in the wilderness, man. You know, a lot of our people not going to make it out the wilderness, but we all getting a chance right now to hear this word. So if you hear this word, if you say that you're an Israelite, make sure that you act accordingly, because your fate is not sealed until that last day, man. You know, the Most High will cast you down. Right. Verse 22.
Verse 22. But it has happened unto them according to the true proverb. The dog is turned to his own vomit again. And the soul that was washed to her wallowing in the mire.
Right, the Bible, the Most High said that if you turn away from this truth after you learn it, it's like a dog going back to his vomit again, man. That's how deep it is. Let me get Romans 12. Romans 12 and 1.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto the Most High.
Right. We got to make sure we become a living sacrifice. Right. Like I brought out earlier, we either going to serve him in our prosperity or we're going to serve these other nations in our captivity. Right. You know, there's really no such thing as, free choice. We don't really have a choice. You know, you could choose, but at the same time, what are you going to? Right? Death and destruction. Right? We either got to choose the Most High to serve him, or we're going to end up serving these other nations. Read.
Which is your reasonable service.
It's reasonable. It's not something hard to do. Right? It's something that the Most High require of us. You know, he can raise us out of this captivity overnight, but we got to serve him first. Right? What you want to serve instead, Nimrod? You want to serve a society that tells you that it's okay to be a transgender? You know, a society that tells you that it's okay for us to teach our children, to learn. They got to pick their own pronoun. You know, your son calling himself a she, you got to call me a her. Right? That's the society that we live in. We got to be a reasonable service of the Most High. Read.
And be not conformed to this world.
Be not conformed to this world. Read.
But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High.
Right.
For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think.
Right. They'll go back to earlier. What was that precept? 1 Corinthians 9:16. Right? You can't glorify yourself. You can't exalt yourself because the Most High here cast you down. You know, this glory is not for us. It's for Hamashiach Yahushua. You know, if we want to get out this captivity, we got to come and preach this word and exalt his name. It's not about us. Read.
But to think soberly, according as the Most High hath dealt to every man the measure of faith. For as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office, so we, being many, are one body in Hamashiach, and every one members one of another. Mm-hmm. Having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the proportion of faith, or ministry, let us wait on our ministering, or he that teacheth on teaching, or he that exhorteth on exhortation. He that giveth, let him do it with simplicity. Right. He that ruleth with diligence, he that showeth mercy with cheerfulness.
Right. Hold that. Actually, drop that. Let me get Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. That'll be my last scripture. Let me get that out.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 5 and verse 6. Your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump? Purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened. For even Hamashiach, our Passover, is sacrificed for us. Therefore let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth.
Right. So we got to purge out the wickedness from our lives and the people that surround us. You know, we really got to start making sure that we mind the time that we keep with other people. You know, we can't be out here in the world dealing with people. Oh, that's my friend. Right. But they're not willing to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. Right. The Most High, he going to purge us out. Right now, he purging us out. You seeing people dying every day. Right. They in Popeye's Chicken fighting over a chicken sandwich, stabbing each other up. Right. We got all type of young women getting snatched up. Right. Getting kidnapped from sex trafficking. You know, our men, they down in the street every day. We got to make sure that we don't end up being like the 2/3 just because we know that we Israelites. You know, it's a powerful thing that we had as truth, and we got to use it responsibly. You know, we got to purge out the sins from ourselves, and we got to make sure we reach out to other people, because that's a requirement of the Most High. He wants us to serve him. He wants us to preach to the other Israelites. He wants us to wake up Jacob in these last days. Right? Is that on that? Tim? Con.
All right, Con. Verse 9. I wrote unto you in an epistle not to company with fornicators.
Not to company with fornicators, right? You think your homeboy, your friend, and he started talking about all this fornication, right? He talking about he want to go to the strip club. He gonna look at you crazy when you tell him, nah, man, I gotta keep these commandments. That's not really your friend, right? Read.
Yet not altogether with the fornicators of this world, or with the covetous, or extortioners, or with idolaters, for then must ye needs go out of the world. But now, Salakia, verse 10, that was it.
Get Ecclesiastes 10 and 12. Salakia 12 and 13. Fine. Let them know. To whom much is given, much is required. Okay, bring it out, all right? Bring it out, Captain. You said Luke what? 12:48. Con.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 12 and verse 48. But he that knew not and did commit things worthy of stripes shall be beaten with few stripes. For unto whomsoever much is given,
right,
of him shall be much required.
Right.
And to whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more.
Right. So the Most High, he requires more from us because we understand this truth. Right, so we got to act accordingly. It's not enough for us to know who we are according to the Bible. It's not enough for us to break down Adam and Eve. It's not enough for us, to break down Hamashiach Yahushua. We got to live in this truth because he's purging out the people in these last days. He gave us this Bible, like I said, with the power of the tongue is the power of life and death. So when we speak this Bible, when we speak the oracles of the Most High, we got to make sure we do it tactfully, skillfully, carefully. Because we can cast other people to death, or we can raise them from the dead. We got to raise our own souls and make sure we seek the salvation in these last days. Let me get Ecclesiastes 12 and 13.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man.
Right, that's the whole reason that we're here, to serve the Most High. We got to seek salvation in these last days. But with that being said, it was an honor and a privilege to be able to teach for the first time. I really appreciate the elders giving me an opportunity to come up here and teach the word. Like I said with the lesson, to whom much is given, much is required. So we got to make sure we go out ahead and keep these commandments, these law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. All praise to the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Mashiach Yahushua.
Shout outs too.
Let's see if we got any questions today for the class.
We have no questions, but we have a couple.
So we have Moriah Yisrael.
Just tell them shalom.
Okay, shalom.
We have the Soldier Zamar. We have a B Spice. We have By Edomite. That was a scoffer. We had Miss Ellie, 1/3. We had Devon Silvera.
Hotspot.
We had Jay Sakor Cage. He actually gave a donation of $20 as well. Shalom.
Hallelujah.
The water, brother. Let me see who else. We had Sister Kashar.
I say support the troops.
We had Sister Kashar. We had Captain Marsha. We had Last Neftali. We had Yapa Yisrael. And that's it. That's it.
All right, with that being said, the Most High, he sent his prophets to forewarn his generation. That's our responsibility as Israelites, Death to America, Kwam Yasharella, and call Allah to the Father. Hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah. I Madiam Wapanya Hakodam, rise and face the east. Hallelujah.
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 Who's the power? Who's the power?
How's the power?
Praises go out to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because truly is mercy. We want to thank you, Abba Yahweh, for blessing us with this Wednesday wisdom class. Abba Yahweh, all the members, all the Akim, Wa, Akwathium. Please send the righteous angels to send a healing out to our elder brother, Paul Pawas, who's going through a very tough time right now with his sickness. Please heal him. I thought, bring him back whole, Abba Yahweh. Please send the righteous angels to encamp around our brother, Maganya Allah, who's also dealing with a sickness, Abba Yahweh. Let's please pray for these brothers, bring them back, prayer, and receive our supplication. The Mashiach Palau and the Lashwan Kodash, repeat after me. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwafka, Saba'ah, Ratazaka, Ayah, Aisha, Rataza, Ka, Hayah, Hashemayim, Natanawa, Lakom, Kayawam, Wasalak Nawa, Kabawath Nawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kabawath Nawa, Wala'ah, Fabiyah Nawa, Manasai 1, Abo, Awashai Nawa, Manrai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwath, Wala'ala, Wala Taiparath. I will love you. Ba'ashem, Hamashiach, Yahushai, Tawada, Tafat, Aman, Aman, Aman. Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. Give the Most High hand. Tawada for everyone coming out for the Wednesday Wisdom class. We'll stay tuned again for Friday class, which will be on the Elder Lapa. Hallelujah. Shalom to everyone online.